We are epic. From the summoning pits with 3 guardians to now 6 clans with over 700 members. We are epic. Epic Alpha, Bravo, Delta, Echo, and Foxtrot. And we will continue to grow and continue to gain guardians that would like to stand together and fight the darkness, or whatever Bungie decides to call it. And you are listening to Radio Epic. For the hopefully couple people that are watching this, this is Radio Epic, episode number 24. And this week we're going to talk about faction rallies. We're going to talk about the TWAB that just came out today. There were some interesting bits of information in this week at Bungie. And faction rallies are doing pretty well, I think. So first off, how are the faction rallies treating you? Not talking about the cheese, but there's some changes to where you maybe get a little bit more from each activity you do.
Yeah, I haven't really noticed much difference, but I haven't been playing as much this faction rally so far, so I've just been kind of taking them as they come. So
I see that. It doesn't really affect me that much. By the way, sorry, let's take a second to stop. I can't believe I did it. The first time I haven't done it. I'm acbtheman. We have bnelly with us. bnelly, how are you doing?
I'm doing alright this evening.
And we have David Allen 353. How's it going, man?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Sick family this week, but hey, what can you do? Okay, so yeah, it's not really affecting me that much. I haven't really noticed too terribly bad anything majorly negative, but it's just been fun to just play some Destiny again to get some different gear because there is new loot from each of the factions. Now, I do have a question. With Dead Orbit, was the scout rifle available from rank up packages? Is that the same scout rifle they were selling last time?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No,
So,
last one they were selling was called Haunted Earth, and this one's called.
Okay.
I think it's different.
Okay. Well, I was just
Nope.
noticing because I noticed
think
there
it's
was
the
a
same
scout rifle. Okay. So then that begs the question: why? Why? Okay. Here's my reasoning. Because the New Monarchy sidearm is not available from New Monarchy because I'm a New Monarchy loyalist. But the scout rifle from Dead Orbit was, and I don't know what decision came in there for that. There's a cool looking sword if New Monarchy winds up winning. New Monarchy has a pretty decent sniper rifle this time. Actually, I'm looking forward to trying to get it. But it's just very weird that one of the weapons that was available as a reward is not there. But that's just something minimal. So overall, before we start talking about the cheese, do you think this has been a successful faction rally? I know it's been better than last time, but do you think it's been successful?
I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the only way to gain loot is through this token system. I'd like to be able to buy some things from the vendor. They claim they're going to do that with the next Iron Banner, and I imagine they'll carry it through to the next faction rally after this one.
I really hope so.
So I think that'll be a big improvement. I think they did a better balance of how to earn things. The only issue being now the fastest way to earn things is the cheese, which we'll talk about in a minute.
Yeah, okay, so if you're not aware, there used to be where you could run into a, what are those things called?
Lost Sector.
Lost Sector, and you could shoot the enemy sort of supplies, and it would give you tokens. You run out, reset, and you could get them really quickly. Well, they said, no, that's not how they're intended to do it. Well, there's a specific Lost Sector on Earth that you can loot the chest. You can exit right above the chest, and it will like respawn the world or respawn the Lost Sector. You can jump back in, and immediately where you exited is where the chest is, and it will allow you to get it again. So they took away an old cheese and with a glitch accidentally left in another cheese that everyone is taking advantage of because it's even faster than the old lost sectors. And so, I think that is unfortunate. I think that's just the community going to find the fastest way to get some more loot, especially with this game where they don't see there's a lot of new loot and adding new weapons. But ignoring that cheese, I think it's been successful. But with that cheese, I think it's kind of hindered what they're wanting these faction rallies to be.
Yeah, and also with the faction rallies, it's kind of annoying that there's not like a way of knowing who's leading. Like it's just kind of you feel like you're doing missions, and supposedly there's this rally going on. At the end, you find out online, oh hey, Dead Orbit won.
Well, it kind of hurts to me. It hurts the validity of it. And I know this is sort of a joke, but Deej is so pro Dead Orbit and Dead Orbit won. I know that was probably just a coincidence, but it hurts like, oh yeah, New Monarchy won. Well, how do we know? How do we know that's true and not just you manipulating the results? And I know they're probably not, but everyone's gonna have that idea. Um, and so if they don't want you to know the full results because they don't want people maybe bandwagoning, I had a couple of ideas for it. Maybe have it to where you have to pledge your loyalty by say like Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday, Monday would be you have to already pledge. Or if they don't want to do that, what if they just said who won per day or who won for a certain hour? They're like, oh, Dead Orbit won from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Pacific time, or Dead Orbit won from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. In Europe or something like that. Um, so maybe they don't tell us who exactly won that day, but they could say, hey, from this time to this time, Dead Orbit won today. And so you're like, oh man, Dead Orbit may be in the lead. Or, oh man, Future War Cult did super ridiculously well yesterday because they had 3 time zones where they were leading. So they definitely won yesterday. It's just,
They could definitely do something where, like even the week before. Yeah, there's definitely you could do something where the week before you pledge, and then the week of the faction rally you can't change who you're pledged to, and that would eliminate the ability of people just like selecting who's ever in the lead at the end.
because I just,
But yeah,
I don't know. There just needs to be a way to see or have some idea, even if they don't exactly tell you, say, well, they did very well today, and we'd have that community sort of double checking every day and saying, oh, well, Dead Orbit's been doing well all week. Let's rally together and stop them, because then that would give me some incentive to actually go do this stuff besides, I want a new sniper rifle.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's some cool things they could implement in game even that would be like, oh yeah, this is who's leading right now. Um, like this is the banner that's higher. This is the person who's leading, or something. I don't know. I think they could probably do some different things to just kind of show us who's ahead, and also just maybe give us an idea of yeah, just who's ahead, and maybe who's doing the best. So I think they could do something.
yeah, and also I question whether or not like so the last time people figured out, oh, Future War Cult, you still get weapons past 30, and so there are people going to much higher levels on Future War Cult, and so I'm wondering if it's like not just a number of packages open, or if it's like number of packages per user or something.
It would be nice if they could actually cap it. So like, once you get to a certain number of packages or contribution to the cause, then you're like, oh yeah, well you've run out. You can't really give anymore. Because you're gonna have people who are like doing the token thing, and I mean it's kind of an unfair at that point. Um, if they're glitching, they could arbitrarily just raise it, and that's not really fair to some people who either A, don't know about it, or like myself, just don't really care enough to want to do that.
Yeah, why would I do that glitch when I could just play strikes and have more fun?
Yeah, and like I feel like it just because somebody could just keep doing that over and over and over again, and just raising their own faction up, but they really haven't done anything. They're just basically cheating the system. And so, like, for me, I don't really care who wins, but it's like I want at least everybody to be on the same playing field. And so I think if they cap it, you can be like, oh yeah, you only get this number of votes for which faction does, and then past that, you can't do any more.
Yeah.
Or
have the
what if
metric
they
not
go
be
ahead?
packages open, so have like
Strikes
a strike
completed
is
in the
worth so
name
many
of
points. Yeah, where
yes,
raids worth
because then it
this,
would
and
incentivize people from if it would incentivize people from not doing that glitch, they would get rewards, but all they're doing is for themselves. Their total like contribution to their faction would be lower. Sorry, I think I cut you off, David. You're about
no,
to say
I
essentially what I was going to
completely
say.
agree. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, it would be something a little more interesting. But I do have to say that this is not like a terrible, horrible event. Like, because it's to me, it's just I'm playing Destiny this week. The little bit I'm playing Destiny lately, I'm playing Destiny, and I happen to get a little bit extra rewards than I normally would. And so I find that very good. Like the Iron Banner, while Iron Banner was cool to only play one game mode, like we talked about the disadvantages and of that, and Bungie's even talking about that. But I think this is like still technically a success because I'm still getting rewards. Just in sort of hey, I'm gonna play the game, just get a little bit of extra. So
Yeah, I mean,
is there anything else? Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I mean, I kind of feel like Bungie's just not really taking some effort into actually coming up with some better ideas on this. And then maybe they have some different data that we don't see, but still, I mean, like, just in the few minutes we've been talking, I feel like, providing more options for players to actually want to play the game and the rewards, like, because it's just a system of like you do certain things to for some sort of satisfaction, whether it be through rewards, like weapons or armor, or just the fact that you can say you completed it or whatever it is. But like they're just not, as I saw somewhere on a Reddit thread, they're just not giving anybody a reason to want to actually play anything. Like, I mean, I have pretty much all the raid gear I could ever hope for, but I only do raids because I like helping other people do it. But like, I'm really not getting anything out of it anymore. And so like it's
Well, and also the raid gear. Speaking of the raid gear, we can talk about that in a little bit. The raid gear is just essentially cosmetic, right?
well, yeah, especially now that they don't
There's no
have.
specific raid perks or anything.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a whole nother conversation. But I mean, like, you know,
I know, but still, I mean that's into the loot conversation
yeah,
that we're talking about.
it's just like there's no real reason for me to want to keep playing the raid right now except for helping other people, which I mean isn't a bad thing because somebody's got to help people who haven't done it. But it's like I'd like something more than just, oh yeah, I've got my 40th Sins of the Past in the last 2 weeks. I'd like something, maybe something else, or I don't know. Like I feel like they just need to really think about why people are doing things and what they want out of it. I think that's what they really need to think about.
Well, and they said they're going to talk about revamping the mod system. They're going to talk about doing a lot of things that could potentially do that. And I know everyone's bored to death about mods and everything, or bored to death about conversation about mods because we're like, oh, mods could be so much better. They could be that random perk. Everyone's talked about mods, and hopefully they'll fix those. But I think they're gonna make some decent changes, and we have an upcoming DLC that should do that. The only concern I have, and this is a major concern, and so I'm gonna voice it here. The only major concern I have is Are we getting a new raid? Do you think we're getting a new raid with the Osiris DLC?
I certainly hope so.
Yeah.
I'm very scared that we won't. They word it as a new raid activity, which doesn't
Prison
sound
of
promising.
Elders. Well, Prison of Elders was supposedly found in like the database, and they said that's some holdover from like essentially D1 coding or something. So they could drop a Prison of Elders and say, "Hey guys, raid activity, in-game activity." I mean, um, honestly, as long as there's something like that, even if it is Prison of Elders or something like that, that is in game, that is after the story, then I'll be okay because it'll just be something else to do. I understand that we aren't maybe as attached to this raid as we were to Vogue, but Vogue was like the first one of any kind of raid, and this raid was still very interesting. Um, but I played it 3 times already, and I'm just like, I want something more to do. And someone like you that has played it countless times, uh, you know, just having something new will be good. But hopefully, it is a full fledged Vex raid again.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely want a raid. I mean, I'm at like 30 clears, which isn't a lot compared to some people I know, but it's still more than
No,
most
but
people
it's
have.
it's yeah.
And like I mean, it's a very interesting raid. I'm enjoying it, and but it is starting to get old very quickly. So I definitely want
Yeah,
some new hard content to actually try and work towards. But I
yeah.
we'll have to wait and see how what Bungo decides to do with it.
Well, speaking of the raids real fast, I just thought of so we've gotten some challenge modes, and this is the first challenge mode this week was the Gauntlet challenge mode. Um, for you who played a lot, how are you finding the challenge modes? Um, because honestly, I thought it was very interesting to essentially have everyone have to do every job with the what do you call it, gauntlet. So you had to run, do plates, and then punch the scions. Um, are the other challenge modes up to it like that, making it a little bit more interesting, or?
Yeah, it's a little more interesting. You actually have to think about how you want to do things a little more. I mean, people. I mean, there's really already kind of a workaround to it. From what I understand, is it's not really a workaround, but like uh, as far as like taking people through that haven't done it before or newbies to doing it, there's like supposedly a way to make it just a little easier. But nothing too exciting. It's just kind of like a loophole, if you will. But anyway, I mean, it's really fun. It's really all not that hard. The first strat that we did, or that I ever did when doing gauntlets, was just moving plates. So it's basically like the very first strat I learned. So it's not like a super challenging one. It's just that you have to know what job you have to move to next after each time around. So I mean, it's not harder. Kind of think of it maybe as like a Vossuk kind of thing. Like instead of 3 people having to work now, all 6 of you have to work. So I mean, it's not super difficult. So
Well, Hop, stop playing COD then.
I think
Sorry.
I think honestly, I think Baths honestly was the harder of the two to get down, and
Well, from what I understand, Baths, you essentially you lost a floater, right?
pretty much, yeah. So I mean, like that one was I think the harder one to work with because it's more based on timing a lot than um, than it was. I mean, you still had to be very quick on the draw with things, but like you have to really be on your game for that. You can't just there's really no room for error on baths, and so kind of interesting to see what dogs is going to be like. So, if they, I would assume they do some sort of a callus challenge too. So, it'll be interesting to see what those are like.
Okay. We've got other bags. We've got other bags. All right. Well, at this point, I think we can move into This Week at Bungie because it came out today. So essentially, first off, they say, hey, look, faction rallies. And you're like, okay, yay. And they're saying faction rallies, whatever. Here's something cool. Bungie is dropping a high resolution patch for PS4 or PS4 Pro, excuse me, and Xbox One X. So probably still won't look as good as some of the high-end PCs, but Destiny 2, if you have one of those new systems, is going to look a little bit better, and so I think that's actually very cool. It makes me honestly want to go get one of those now, but you save up a lot of money for a while. But I think that's very cool that they have that they're essentially going to make it look better on those consoles that have the capability of doing so.
Yeah, I'm actually a little surprised they didn't have that from the start. I know the PC version was made independently, but obviously the textures and the HDR capability existed for the PC build, so I was a little surprised we didn't see the PS4 version from launch and the Xbox One X version. I'm surprised it didn't launch with the console.
Well, are you think they were just waiting for Bolt to come out? Because this says it's dropping when the Curse of Osiris drops on the 5th of December. Which, by the way, isn't that very long away. But when the Curse of Osiris drops, that's when they're dropping it. Do you think they maybe weren't done with it? They were just waiting? I mean, we obviously can't look into their minds, but
Yeah,
it is very weird that it didn't come out with a high resolution patch.
Yeah, and basically, well, this is pure speculation, but I think it goes back to the things we've been seeing with them is their internal teams don't communicate well, and the PC version was built by another developer, um, and so I think it might just be the fact that Bungie doesn't have good internal communication, and when you separate it, even to another company they have to communicate with, they have even more issues.
Well, it could be ultra conspiracy theory, how they didn't want the PS4 Pro to look better in Xbox One, so they didn't want their Xbox One sales to hamper. That's very ultra conspiracy theory. I doubt that's true.
I
Um,
doubt that's true,
Go
just
ahead.
because
Hey,
they
I
are
know. I'm just
perfectly
messing. I'm
happy
just
to
messing.
make the give the PS4 extra stuff. So
PS4, yeah. By the way, Curse of Osiris has been almost confirmed to have PlayStation exclusive stuff. So, oh well. That map on Titan apparently is a PlayStation exclusive. So,
yeah, that bothers me just
oh well.
because they're
It always
advertising
bothers
it.
us.
This is the Curse of Osiris, and the things we're advertising as cool is
Well, they
um
always do that.
place. Yeah, I don't know. It just hurts more with with the small DLCs and not the full size expansions because like we're adding 3 new maps for PvP, but one of them is a PlayStation exclusive rather, and we have 6 maps and one's a PlayStation. So it's just like the percentage is higher of PlayStation exclusive, and so I guess it hurts more.
Yeah. I'm gonna skip to later on, because Hops has said something. He says his high-end PC can't even play Destiny 2, and there are issues. Well, Bungie has kind of said stuff about that. They say, hey, if there are issues with Destiny 2, make sure you have the latest graphic drivers. Make sure you run Destiny 2 in true full screen. Set clock speeds for yada yada. Um, but with all that work, that they put into making Destiny 2 available from like the low end to ultra high end, it sucks that they're having issues. I know every game will, but it sucks that they're having issues enough that they're saying, well, if you're having issues, try these steps. But overall, I think it went smoothly. It's just that I guess Hops is having some of those PC issues.
Yeah, and I know they're having issues with frame rate stutter,
Well,
but
and frame
I
rate
think
stutters so
they're
much that it can compound and crash you.
yeah. I think they said they're working on it, but I mean, I haven't played the PC version yet, but from what I've heard, the PC
Hop
port's
says
better
his was
than
actually
some.
good, and Hop says his was actually good until they did the fix. So they broke some other people's versions. Oh well, hopefully they'll fix it again, Hops. But
Spaghetti code.
going, yeah, well, hopefully it's not as. Come on, hopefully it's not as spaghetti as before. So they do say the first Clarion call, which is the double XP weekend, will be next weekend, starting at 10 a.m. Pacific on November 17th. That just means you'll get double EXP, and they said the double EXP will come from running activities with clanmates. So, like our clan, we have hops. That's awful frames per second. Anyways, we have so many clans that it's not going to be hard to, but we're going to have to make sure we're playing with our specific clans to get that double XP. But as long as you're playing with at least one other clan member, you get double XP, which means you will get double the bright engrams. You will get, yeah, pretty much just double the bright engrams. What else does XP get you, really? I don't know if that goes to double tokens or anything like that. But it just says double XP, so maybe if you're leveling up a new character, this might be a good weekend to level up a character. Um,
Yeah, I should
So
have waited.
I think that's very interesting. Well, I'm. This is the week. Next weekend is the weekend I'm gonna hopefully bring up both of my secondary characters, because my hunter is level 7 and I haven't even started my warlock. So,
Yeah, I need to get on that. My hunter is untouched.
well, do next weekend and do it with a clan member. Make sure you're in a clan. Do it with a clan member. They did say they're gonna have some clarion call weekends where you can do stuff solo. But at least this first one, they want to emphasize that clan stuff, so that's very cool. Bright engrams fasters are going to be very cool, especially if there's something you want. Um, but next, is there anything else you wanted to say about the clarion call? I'm sorry. Okay. Next, they talk about it says social cues. They're talking about social stuff, and they want to help you do some things with the guided games and stuff like that. So they're changing some of the ways that guide games work in order to try to maximize uh, how it's done. Have you guys either hosted a guided game or tried to join a guided game? Either one of those things. Okay, I wanted to when the raid first came out. A lot of our clan members were playing at like 8:30, and I just got my job, and that was kind of hard for me to do. So like I wanted to join a guided game to do a raid, and I sat in orbit for sorry, not 9 hours. At 9 o'clock, I sat in orbit until about 10:15, so an hour and 15 minutes, and gave up on it because it just took forever. Now that could have been a multitude of reasons, but now they said they're going to introduce an audio cue to know when we found a guide. So even if the game says if the game hasn't like loaded up you to pick the group you want to do, you will hear an audio cue. That doesn't necessarily mean it'll be faster, but there's something there. It now says full clans can now guide because you used to have at least 3 spots open to guide, and that was just so you could pull people into your clan. But now full clans can guide and help people out, even if there's not an opening. So I think that's a good thing, especially if you want to raise your whatever that rank is. I don't even know what that does for you, anyways. But your goodwill, good deed rank, essentially. What else did they do? Oh, they added a reminder that if you reject a clan, you're still at the front of the line. So when you go and you're picking a guided game, if you ever get that far, you can say no to a group and you'll still be in front. So when you pick a group, you'll be able to continue going. So you don't have to say yes to the first group you see just because you want to get a game. And then they say new guided games will support the new Nightfall and Raid content you'll find in Curse of Osiris. So there'll be even more stuff to do guided games on. So the only thing that I have to say about this all sounds cool, except with the limited amount of guided games that they have now, adding more stuff in my personal opinion, seems like it's just gonna take longer for you to find a guided game unless you get lucky.
I think one change I think
Anything you
we've
want to
talked
say about all that? Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think one thing we've talked about before is just being able to add in the option of doing other things while waiting for a guided game. If it is going to take that long, and I would at least want to be able to do something else in that time frame. If it does take like an hour or more to find a game, I want to be able to do something, not just sit there and stare at my screen while it's
Yeah.
loading. So, I mean,
Yeah, sit in order for
personally,
75 minutes.
that's a change I'd rather see than, some of these other things that are coming in now.
Eh, hopefully they'll fix those, but maybe it'll get better. Maybe with the new DLC coming out, there'll be more people. But that's just that. The next thing they talk about is new things that they're trying to implement with chat, either proximity chat in the tower or in-game chat. They're trying to have clan members be able to talk to each other in the game chat. So if you're close to a clan member somehow, then you don't have to be in a party. So they're trying to introduce some of this chatting stuff, which honestly for us Xbox and PlayStation players doesn't really affect. But they don't even have like text chat right now on PC version, which seems kind of odd for PC games. But they're gonna try to introduce some new ways of chatting with people, doing things like that. So I guess that's always good. Excuse me.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, I
it'd be
mean, especially
more.
since PC doesn't have a party system like Xbox and PlayStation, where you can just talk to your friends, and when you want to play a game, join together. PC, you have to basically use a separate app, so you have to have Discord or TeamSpeak or Mumble or whatever installed, and just an extra step that makes it harder. So it's good that they're trying to make that a little easier on PC. I imagine most PC users will still use Discord or whatever, but
No, they definitely will. But it's just gonna make it easier, that much easier, and that much. I don't know, that much more communicative.
Yeah, I think it'll be a nice change, especially like I don't really care that much about for Xbox, but like I know as a
Exotic
PC player,
Ingram. Sorry.
as a PC player of various games, having a built-in chat system or a way to make it easy for creating a chat group would be essential for like a PC especially.
particularly since they banned the Discord overlay.
Flashbang grenade. And then finally uh, they specifically say the word emote wheel. They mentioned a while back that they were looking at a way to um, have more than one emote equipped at a time, and they specifically say emote wheel, and it says they're trying to make it happen as soon as possible. So I say yay.
I I like it. Can't wait to see what
The
they
next
do.
big thing, the next thing is a huge, huge one. When the Curse of Osiris drops, resets will now no longer take place at 1 a.m. Pacific. Their reasoning is the DLC doesn't drop until 9 a.m. Pacific for them. So, players would not be able to play some activities, or they would be in the middle of playing regular Destiny 1 in the past and then have to log off and sometimes have issues turning over if they're playing. So their reasoning is that way the reset will happen at the same time new releases come out. Well, they say it is 1700 UTC. Well, for us Americans, if you're not from America listening to this, you can go to their This Week at Bungie and it has some approximations. But it is 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, and 12 p.m. noon Eastern Standard Time. So the new reset will be during the day, which I know is going to make some content creators, depending on where you live, make content creators' lives either a little worse or a little bit better, depending. But the new reset time is going to be smack dab in the middle of the day, which will give people a little bit more time Monday night into Tuesday to get some more things done. And honestly, I really like this. It's going to be a little bit weird seeing those reset videos come at you early afternoon instead of mid-morning, but I like the change.
Well, and I think if they do it during the day, it gives them a chance to get it all figured out. And I mean, I like the change that they're going to do reset when they do the same time they drop DLCs, because then when new content comes out, they're doing both at the same time and allow, like, as you said, there's no, like, you can log on and then if you're in the middle of something you have to log out, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's just going to straight up reset.
But I mean, like, there's other games that I play that they do resets in the middle of the day. I honestly, most people are going to be either at work or school or preoccupied in the middle of the day, which is not the case for everybody, of course, but generally that's going to be what most people are going to be doing. So I think it's probably
Well,
a
and
better
you
option.
mentioned work too. I think this is also they will be at work when it reset happens. So if there's a major issue, they can potentially fix it that day instead of having to throw a hot fix out the next day and leave something up for a day. They can be like, "Oh crap, we got to fix this now." By the end of their workday, their hot fix is out. And I think this will be better because they can fix things. So, like, the reset happens, faction rally glitch happens, they see it happen and they see videos. They're like, oh man, let's fix this. And they fix that faction rally glitch within, like, maybe 4 hours. So, I think that that's going to be good to fix there. It's just something interesting just to be aware so you're not confused on December 5th.
Well,
And
I
then,
know, like,
guys, that's pretty much it. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I know, like, I play League of Legends a lot on the computer. Their reset day is Tuesdays as well, and they're a California-based company, so they're Pacific as well. And you know, if something doesn't work, like if a champion's like just broken, there's a glitch or whatever it is, like they have pretty much either they've disabled the champion or done something so they can't be abused, and then they either get a hot fix out to try and fix it that same day, and then they come up with a more permanent solution later, or like they have a permanent solution that same day. So actually, I think it's a good change in many aspects. So I think it'll be a good
It'll
thing.
be it'll be a little bit different, but yeah, no, it'll be a good thing overall. What else? I think that's it for the TWAB. The only thing left is some silly video of some guy making all the noises to a Crucible match. We've seen that many times, but this guy takes it to a new level because he actually shows himself like 9 times around the corner. So that's why he is movie of the week. He took some time to do it. It's pretty cringeworthy, but he took some decent time to make that happen. So it goes great. Was there anything this week? I don't really know if there was anything else this week majorly that came out. Anything else about maybe Curse of Osiris or anything that y'all would like to yak about?
I don't think anything came out. They're doing their reveal streams for that soon, right?
Yeah, I think starting next week actually, because December 5th is very soon, so they need to actually start putting those out. So it may be actually next week. We'll find out soon enough. Um, I, I'm not 100% sure, and I'm not gonna look it up right now. But yeah, they're gonna do those very very soon.
Yeah. So we'll get to find out more. Get to find out if we actually get a new raid or if raid
We're all
activity
gonna-
means.
Or
Oh
if-
well, hold on. I'm in the stinking twab. They said something about it. Oh well. Oh well, but yes, they're going to be revealing some things. I'm gonna go ahead and shout out Sam Sunday PvP. We had it 2 weeks ago, and then due to lots of issues, just haven't had it. But I think we're actually gonna wind up starting Sam Saturday PvP. So on Saturdays we'll take about an hour, hopefully get a little bit better at PvP. Sundays we'll do the same thing. So if you're in our clan and listening to this, please look for the post on Slack. Please look for the post in the 100 and just join up. We had like 5 people last time, and that's great. But I remember in Destiny 1 we wound up getting close to like 15, 16 at some point. So just I guess when people start wanting to do more PvP, I know that it's a lot different than Destiny 1. But when people want to start doing more PvP, we'll get a little bit better. But just Saturdays and Sundays pretty much. So. And with that, guys, I think that about does it for our podcast this week. Anyone have any last minute things to say?
Nope.
Nope, I'm good.
All right. Well, then I am going to say have a good week, guys.